Well, hey, man, I wasn't expecting an intro like that. That's pretty awesome. I was getting my groove on. How's everybody doing? Welcome to the Future Stars forecast on this Friday. I'm very happy that my special guest today, LNJ Foxwood's Jaime Roth, is coming in on a celebratory note because Lighthouse won the 7th race at Santa Anita. Let's bring her in.
Hey.
Jaime. Oh my gosh. So I was finishing up doing, getting dressed. I actually had to do my hair today. So the fact is, like, I missed the actual race. Take us through it.
She broke sharply. Looked like she was gonna, she went to the lead and then she was just kind of inside, was worried that she was getting a little bit of pressure. I gotta be honest, at one point I thought Lofty had her, but she's a gutsy filly, and I think she had experience from the last stakes race, and she ended up getting in front, and she won really impressively. So I'm happy.
Awesome.
I'm happy for Simon and Drayden as well. So
no, that's awesome. You were actually before the race, a little skeptical. It was a tough race, but your horse came through.
I think that I was reading too much analysis from other people and just didn't go with gut, which I knew she was training well. So
exactly, you got to shut all that out. As somebody who's a fan of Simon Callahan and Drayden, I'm so happy for them as well. And this is just a testament to the fact of, wow, you're enjoying all this great success. But we're going to take it back because this all started with a passion. I mean, you've always loved sports. You went to the University of Wisconsin. You actually got a master's in sports business from NYU. You were doing PR for Madison Square Garden. But you've always been a racing fan. And back in 2009, a particular horse captured your heart and your imagination. And that special filly, of course, being Rachel Alexandra, the great.
Yes.
So, can you take us back to what it was about this horse in particular that really sparked in your mind the concept and a business plan that you would ultimately take to your parents? Just talk to us about the genesis of LNJ.
Well, like you said, I was at Madison Square Garden. It was great, but it didn't really fit me and what I was looking for. And at that time, I think that I was watching a show called Jockeys, which got me interested into racing. I thought all the behind the scenes stuff was just really interesting. And I just came across Rachel Alexandra because they were talking a lot about the Zenyatta competition, East Coast, West Coast. And I just fell in love with her competitiveness, her athleticism, her beauty, and the fact that she had the guts and the owners to run against the boys. As an athlete growing up, there weren't a lot of opportunities in women's sports at the level I was competing in. So me and some of my friends we played on travel soccer teams with boys, and they always thought that they could beat us because, I was a defender and, that I was a girl, they can beat me. And that's not how I played the game. And I felt the symbolism with her. So
that really did take you a step further in your mind. You expressed to your father what a fan you were of racing, Larry, the L in LNJ. And he actually, you were going to go visit some friends in Del Mar, and he set up a meeting with an owner.
Yeah, so I was kind of figuring out what I wanted to do, and he said, well, I know you like horse racing. I have a friend in Del Mar who owns horses. I'll set up a meeting. And because I was going out to California to see one of my best friends. And in the back of my head, I was kind of like rolling my eyes like, yeah, all right, this isn't going to happen. And I got out there, I told my friend, and she said, go. And I was nervous because I was told I was meeting Alex Solis, and I knew he was a famous Hall of Fame jockey, and I felt weird about it. And my friend said, just go, Jaime. And she's someone I trust. And I went, and I was looking for Alex Solis and couldn't find him. And sure enough, I meet Alex Jr. And I felt a lot better. And we're walking through Del Mar, and everyone knows him. Hi, Alex. Hi, Alex. Hi, Alex. And I'm like, God, he's like a celebrity or something. And we had a beer. We talked, and it was easy. There was an instant connection to him. and he asked what I wanted to do. I said, I want to get involved in horse racing. I have no idea how. And he said, well, do you want to win the Derby? And because you're not. And I said, actually, I would love to work with fillies because that's, what Rachel was and what I was interested in. I said, I'd love to win the Derby with a filly. And
Hey, do it.
Came up with a game plan. We connected after my trip to Del Mar. He brought the game plan to my parents who they met him in Vegas, actually. He flew from California to Vegas. My parents had a convention there. And he must have given them a good game plan because a month later we were at Keeneland and we owned 4 horses. So
so that's what takes us from you being a fan to this filly 4. And we'll start off by talking about them because what you're talking about with bringing these fillies into the equation, it was so smart because now you're in a position where you have horses that are not only racing candidates, but they're broodmare candidates as well. They'll always, if you have the means to be able to get those nice black type pedigrees, there's always going to be that second career for them. That's not just being in the show ring or something of that nature. But I mean, these first 4 fillies you guys pulled out of the sales, amazing pedigrees. We'll start off talking about Burning Arch, a daughter of Arch, out of Chilly Cat by Stormcat. This is just such a great pedigree. She's just shy of being a 3/4 sister to a horse named Cat's Claw because, while she's by Arch, Cat's Claw is by Dynaformer. So you got that same sire line in there. And she won the 2014 Waya going 12 furlongs on the grass. And you got to love horses that can have that that ability to get the stamina into the gene pool, because then you have more, I feel, options with what stallions you want to go to. But she has a City Zip daughter, Chili Payton. I think that's how it's pronounced, but she's with Wesley Ward.
Yeah, she's not
yeah. No. But it's just a nice family. That Chili Payton was a horse, won on debut, went over to Ascot, I believe, came back and won again. So it's a really nice pedigree just right there. But the further you go back, I mean, this Burning Arches Dam, a half sister to multiple Group 1 winner, BC 12 turf runner-up point of entry. So this is also his sister, multiple Grade 1 winner, Pine Island. So you got Lasher Pass and that whole family of Gold Beauty. And Gold Beauty was just we'll talk about Covfefe later, but you got to love a female sprinter, right?
Yeah.
And she was champion sprinter of 1982, and that was Burning Arch's 5th dam. We've got Maple Jinsky in the mix. Maple Jinsky, half sister to De Jour. And then, of course, Maple Jinsky is also the dam of Sky Beauty, just a horse that we all love. So then you don't have her anymore, but you you enjoyed her as a racehorse. And was she the first one you campaigned, or was she the first race under your silks?
Actually, so that year we bought 4 mares, and the whole idea was like, well, we'll have the pedigree to fall back on. Yeah. I mean, we're new to the game, so if they can't, at that point, you don't realize that most horses are not good, and most don't make it to the racetrack. So Alex was smart to, it was right after the financial crisis and the market. Yeah. Picked up yet, so we were able to grab those 4 horses, and Burning Arch being from a Phipps family. She actually was the last one of the 4 that actually made it to the races. In fact, her breaker at the time, we didn't know actually if we thought she would be good enough to run in Santa Anita, but she actually ended up being a really, really good filly. She tailed off at the end. I'm not sure why, but
well, yeah. Sometimes for whatever reason they lose interest. But I am glad that you brought up the fact that, I mean, just to get the horse to the races, there are a lot of people outside of racing, whether they're just fans. No, they don't have an understanding of just how difficult it truly is to get a horse to the racetrack. I mean, everything. We had a pre-show conversation before, and we were just discussing everything has to go right.
Everything has to go right. Like I said, when Brittany Erden interviewed me after Covfefe won the Breeders' Cup, I mean, the mare has to get him full. She has to deliver a healthy full. They got to be, correct and make it to the breakers. And, I've had some horses actually who have, not made it, through the breaking process. And, then you got to get to a trainer, and you got to hope that they're not mental and that they can get into the gate and they can break from the gate and just have the ability. And it's really hard to get a horse to the racetrack and have a good one. So
yeah. So it's just remarkable, just in this short time. When you just mentioned the Phipps family. You're talking about generations of horses that have come from that ownership group and their breeding practices. And here, I mean, in that scope, you guys are relatively new to the scene, and what you've amassed already is so incredible. I mean, I know you don't have Burning Arch anymore, but she had an American filly in 2017 named Bernice, who sold for $450,000 as a yearling. In 2018, she had a Candy Ride named Red, Hot, and Blue, who was $650,000 as a yearling. That horse, actually, for those of you looking for some babies to play, that horse has fired 2 bullets at Neil Brennan Training Center, and just had the first work at Belmont on the 27th, going 3 furlongs in 37 and 59 100s. That was the second fastest of 12 at the distance. So maybe a horse to keep on the radar there. Again, Red, Hot, and Blue. I also want to mention we have a lot of people saying hi to you, Jamie. I don't know if you can see the comments.
I can. No, okay. I'm just focused on you. Actually, I see someone now saying hello.
There you go. Well, no, she's able to actually pull in some of the comments from people who are submitting in. But for example, we got Shona saying hi.
Tara is the friend in California who told me, who's the reason that I'm involved. She said, "Go, don't be nervous, go." So
Tara, you're a rock star, because can you imagine had you not lit that fire under her tush to go? See, you showed heart, you showed bravery. Now you got horses doing the same back for you, right? So that was just one of the filly four. You had Fleet of Gold. Do you still have her in the broodmare band?
Yes, we still have her.
I mean, not to cut you off, I freaking am very excited about this because I have a big soft spot in my heart for Game Winner.
Okay.
Who won the juvenile, was champion juvenile. So Fleet of Gold by Medaglia d'Oro, which that's kind of cool for you too. I mean, Rachel was a daughter.
So Fleet of Gold is Nancy's favorite horse in our host stable.
Really?
We call her Fog's mom. She just, from day one, just loved that filly, now the mare. And so it's funny because that's my mom's nickname, and that's her.
Oh my!
So, yeah, she's a cool horse.
Well, that's fabulous. And I mean, what a pedigree on her. Like I said, by Medaglia d'Oro out of Fleet Indian. Fleet Indian, for those of you who don't know, 2006's Eclipse champion, older mare. And then Fleet Indians. So that makes this the female family, because Fleet Indian also had Indian Giving. And Indian Giving is the dam of the aforementioned Game Winner. So that's really cool. So Fleet of Gold, not only is there a Game Winner in the mix from her half-sister Indian Giving, but Indian Giving also produced Flagstaff. And you actually had to remind me of that.
Well, so we still have a really talented horse named Explorer, son of Orb. He won, he had a lot of hype with Baffert. He won first time out really impressively. And I was worried that Flagstaff, who was in that race, was going to beat him that day. Now, Flagstaff has had better luck, obviously staying healthy. We've had some setbacks with Explorer, but from then on, I followed him because I thought his second place was really impressive. And I think that horse is, he's a serious horse. So
yeah, grade 2 winner, grade 1 placed. He himself by Speightstown, trained by Sadler. He capped off 2019 with a score in the Damascus, following a 3rd place finish in the Santa Anita Sprint Championship, but can't really fault him. That was with Omaha Beach in there. And then he kicked off the year with a 2nd in the grade 2 Palos Verdes, followed by a score in the San Carlos, and last out he was 3rd in the grade 3 Count Fleet. So this just keeps building, the resume of Fleet of Gold on her page for any foals she has in the future. And it's already an illustrious family. This is the female family of what I consider to be the greatest blue hen mare of our of modern breeding, and that is La Troyenne. It's family 1X. I mean, it's so prolific. There's so many great horses that come from it. One of the most recent that I'll give a nod to, it happens to be Maxfield himself, who's on the Derby Trail. And so Fleet of Gold's already had a really nice horse, Cherry Knot, in 2016. And she came out with, just 3/4 of a length second on debut. So the precociousness was there. And so we know there's some talent. So what is happening with Fleet of Gold now?
Fleet of Gold. Can you hear me? The audio is.
It gets a little wonky every now and then, but it does it on my end too.
So to be honest with you, we've had some just unfortunate luck with the family. And so it's been tough, but we haven't given up. And she just had a tap it full. And I can tell you one thing, with Nancy Roth behind this mare, anything is possible. We haven't given up on her, and we've just had unluck, But I can tell you this, that mare is strong-willed and a survivor, because she's been through a lot, and I still believe in her. So.
No, that's great to hear. I mean, that family's gone through a lot. And even given herself, her half sister, Sally, passed away after having game winner to colic.
So yeah, I didn't know, if I should mention that. So basically, Fleet of Gold is Fleet Indian's only remaining daughter. She's basically the only branch. I mean, so it's up to her, and I know she's gonna get it done. I don't know who it's gonna be, but she's gonna make that family live again. I believe that sincerely. And Jane Lyons is a great, she's amazing, a great woman and a good friend of ours. And I think between the two of us, I think that there's some good luck behind that mare.
I believe it. I definitely do. And yeah, Jane Lyon is just such a wonderful person, such a great ambassador for the sport. She, for those of you who don't know, Summer Wind Farm, she has some of the best brood mares in the game. She has American Pharoah's dam, Little Princess Emma over there, among many illustrious others. Let's talk about Fiji Moon. Mm-hmm. Indian Charlie out of Macumba by Mr. Prospector. So that, of course, makes her a half-sister to Malibu Moon. How great was it to get a horse with that type of pedigree power behind her?
So to be honest, of the four first horses, she not just because she was the most expensive, but she was the one we were most excited about. My mom wasn't at the sale that day. It was just my father, myself, and Alex. And after we purchased her, that was our first significant purchase, and we were like, oh, whoa, what do we just do? What's Nancy gonna think? But she was, for me, the highlight of the four. And she won first time out. She was Tony Dutrow. Again, we had a setback after that first race, but she was so game and had so much talent. We got her back to California with Richard Mandel, and it just wasn't meant to be. But she's a beautiful filly, beautiful mare. She's named after my first dog, named Fiji. So,
okay.
The Malibu Moon part, and she actually won her first race literally a day after my dog had passed away. So, she means a lot to me. She's a keeper in the broodmare band. So
then that explains the handle Fiji the Great.
Yes, exactly.
Oh, that's
yeah. So that explains the name Tapwater, et cetera, et cetera.
Yep. Exactly. As you just mentioned, Tap Water by Tap It, 2016 full. In 2017, she had Masaniva by American Pharoah.
That's a filly that we sold privately. She's
okay.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, I was like, that sounds kind of exotic. I wasn't, usually LNJ, you can figure out where the name, Tapwater versus Masaniva, but it's still, and it's a great family too. It's family 2S of Secretariat, so you gotta love that also. And I should give a shout out to Fiji Moon Sire, because I was so wrapped up in the fact that she's a half Malibu Moon. She's by Indian Charlie, so hello, right?
Yeah.
So let's talk about Miss Super Quick. This was the fourth of the Philly Four. So Rock Hard 10 daughter out of Quickest by Forest Wildcat. She stakes place. She got the showdown, the Beverly J. Lewis. She's a half to 2015's grade 1 loss of Virginus winner callback. So you got that grade 1 black type right there. Damn, half sister to 2010's Kentucky Derby champion Super Saver, and that includes, so you get the family of brethren and all that in there as well. Second dam Supercharger, full sister to Accelerate, Girolamo, Daydreaming. She's the dam of Imagining, is grade 1 winner. Then the third dam is a full sister to 89's Breeders' Cup Juvenile Eclipse champion, Rhythm. That was Shug McGahee, if I remember correctly, Phipps. Fifth dam, champion, and Blue Hen Mare numbered account. So again, here's Family 1X on the scene, La Troyenne. And as a broodmare, Miss Super Quick has produced in 2016 comic by Distorted Humor, had 2 starts, and was last second and made a special weight. And this horse appears to be nearing a return.
Yeah, she's nearing a return. The audio is it hard for you or?
I can hear you fine.
Okay.
You know what? We'll give it a moment to readjust for a second. I'll just say this real quick. So we got Shona apologizing to you.
Okay.
He says, Jamie, I'm sorry, not sorry, that I photobombed the Kentucky Derby's Winter Circle in Country House 1. I was covering the race for Ascension Jet, and I got swept up in the excitement.
Listen, I think there was a lot of photo bombers, because when I look back at the pictures, there's a lot of people I do not know. But you know what? It doesn't matter. So, yeah.
I'll apologize too, because I got pulled into a winner's circle with Covfefe because Lee McCathin, who McCathin Brothers broke Covfefe, we were all hanging out. And when she won, it was like right there. So I stayed on the offshoot. I was just like, I don't know if I should be.
Well, I got to give a shout out to the McCathin brothers.
Yeah.
They were at the test in Saratoga, and they were crying when she won, and the emotion that I was feeling at the time and they had at the time. I understood exactly like what they were going through in the time. I mean, they knew she was a superstar from day one, and for that to actually happen and everything they put behind. I mean, it was just, I love when someone who's involved in the horse has the emotion that I have. And I just shout out to them, and they sat with us at the Eclipse Awards and just awesome.
Well, yeah, Lee, I mean, obviously we know she had just lost her husband. And so that, when we were there at the test, that just, I don't know, it was one of those things where it's bittersweet. You feel like, oh my gosh, you have this connection to this great horse. You wish that loved one was still there to enjoy it with you. But no, it was beautiful. It was really emotional. I know. We'll get to it, because what that really accomplished is really something. You've had graded stake success on track. You had Super Majesty, won the 2015 Grade 3 Dogwood. That was with Steve Asmussen, daughter of Super Saver, who we just mentioned. Gin's Majesty by Go for Gin. Dams I Have to 2009 Breeders' Cup Sprint Champion, Dancing in Silks. And you sold this one for $450,000 as a broodmare prospect, correct?
Yeah. And then we saw her son at Saratoga, but who was pretty handsome.
Sold for $800,000 as a yearling.
You know,
Alex. We have Alex joining us.
I think the Chews bought her, and I remember sitting behind them, and I just wanted to congratulate them on an amazing purchase. I mean, Super Majesty was a horse on the fence that we didn't know if we should sell, but as anyone running an operation understands, you have to sell. You can't keep everything. Alex said, you guys, like, you can't keep everything. This you got to sell. And she made sense to sell. We knew she'd bring, good money, and she was hard because it's important to us, like one of our first stakes winners, but I'm happy she's obviously at a great home, and I know they're going to breed her to the best. And I mean, she was great for us. We had a lot of fun with her. So
I think it's just what you said. You can't keep them all. You don't want to start hoarding your animals, because it is a business. You have to keep your funds able to support it. You can't get horse poor, is what they used to call it back in the day. And
what I've learned is a horse that might not fit your operation anymore will most definitely fit someone else's operation. I'm sure we'll talk about that when we get to the gold round and family. But just because it doesn't work for you doesn't mean it's not a home run for someone else. So.
Exactly. That's why we've seen a lot of our potential sires that would have been standing here and go overseas. They didn't necessarily fit the program here because we were so focused on all the dirt racing. So we had people coming in and buying stock and taking them over. And now we've got a resurgence of grass coming back, and I'm very happy about that. So Dreamologist by Taffet out of Dreaming of Anna by Rahi. I mean, we know this family. We definitely know this family. A Dreamologist herself won the Grade 3 La Cienega for Mandela, who, by the way, we also have, I believe, Gary Mandela's watching. We got thumbs up.
Love Gary.
That's wonderful. Thank you for joining. So she's a half to Greatest Stakes winner, Grade One placed Fast Anna, who's at stud now. And we all know this dam. 2006's Breeders' Cup Juvenile Fillies champion 2-year-old, Dreaming of Anna, trained by one of my favorites, the Catman, Wayne Catalano. Back in the day when Wayne was a jockey, he used to ride horses for my parents. So I love him. So, you know, and you would think that was cool enough, but there is more because the second dam, Just Enough Heart, half sister to Kitten's Joy champion turf horse in 2004, and just got upset in that year's Breeders' Cup Turf. So talk about Dreamologist for us.
So, sorry, the computer, but Dreamologist was our first actual private purchase. Jason Litt knew the family really well, and there was an opportunity to buy her privately. And the best way he described it was, this is Andre Agassi and, you know, Steffi Graf having a child. And yeah. I mean, at this point, we're probably like 5 or 6 horses into the operation, and it just made sense. Again, like a lot of pedigree. Jason had actually done the mating for her, so he, you know, was intimately already involved with her, and you know, we got her, and I remember her just unloading in the van. I think at that point she was at Three Chimneys, and yeah, she just had the look, and I mean, she was really, really fast, and I think that was a detriment to her as a 2-year-old. She was just doing more than what she should have been doing. But I always say to Alex, if she didn't have any hiccups as a 2-year-old, I swear, I mean, I think there's, I know this is probably gonna maybe upset some people for me saying something, but I really think she could have been 2-year-old champion with her talent and ability. No, really, I saw her works as a 2-year-old.
No, I believe you.
And they were incredible. But again, I mean, that's the point is, though, you got to hold together, and you know, so hats off to the horses that are able to do that, you know, as a 2-year-old. Yeah. But no, to get her back as a 3-year-old and win that graded stake was huge for us. I mean, she's a blue, you know, hopefully a blue hen mare for us, and we love her.
That's really exciting. And you've got another horse with another fabulous name in Nickname, who she won the 2015 Grade 1 for Zet. That was the first Grade 1 win for LNJ, correct?
It was on my dad's 60th birthday.
Oh my gosh, how was that celebration then?
He was the first time that anyone in my family's ever walked a horse into the winner's circle, because I've always just a firm believer that's kind of, you know, something the groom should do. Of course, if it's Breeders' Cup and but anyways, that's a whole different story. But he walked her in, and the joy and pride in his face, I mean, was an ultimate birthday present. So.
Well, that's so thrilling. I'll give her a pedigree shout out, obviously, because she's by the late Scat Daddy. So it's really nice to have.
She's at that time was the only winning Scat Daddy on dirt.
Really? See, I didn't.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
There you go. And then Anina Fever by Borrego. That's a horse who could definitely get a distance. He won the 2005 Jockey Club Gold Cup and the Pacific Classic. But Nickname herself, she won the Frizette. She was 4th in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Fillies. But I mean, hello, that was a songbird. And Rachel, Alexander's daughter, Rachel's Valentina, and you had Dothraki Queen in there. How surreal was that for you? Did you have a moment of, wow, you know, not so long ago, I was a
I lost you. Uh-oh. Lost you.
I love it. I am back. Hi. I'm sorry about that.
Okay. Sorry, I lost you.
See, look at that. I'm only gone for a couple minutes and you're already taking other calls. No, so we were talking about nickname, and we were talking about the fact that so she's fourth in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Fillies, but that was Songbird and Rachel's Valentina, and I was just curious. I mean, it's got to be really strange to have been such a big fan and been so inspired by Rachel Alexandra to be in there with Rachel's Valentina and the like. Did you have a moment of just wow, the journey I've come from so far?
I actually, I had that moment before the Frizette at Saratoga. Constellation and Rachel's Valentina were next to each other in the gate, running against each other. Actually, I think they may have. No, she won first time out, so they met in the spinaway, and they were right next to each other, and it was such a surreal moment. It was all I thought about all weekend is the full circle moment, and obviously, as much as I wanted her to win, and kind of on the far turn, I thought she had it, but then she just got caught. I mean, obviously, there's no one I'd be more happy. I was so happy for Stone Street to get the win. It was so surreal. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I already experienced that before the Frizette. I mean, before the Breeders' Cup.
Well, that's still that's awesome though, and just to have a filly come out, get that great one for you, and then take you to that echelon is wonderful. And I got a comment here from our good pal Pete Rotundo. How is Retro? He wants to know.
Well, Retro was sold, but
sorry.
Sorry, in full. I mean, listen, again, we'll work.
Who's the baby daddy? Who's the baby daddy?
Well, well, when we sold to American Pharaoh.
Okay.
So
well, see, he's gotta love that. I was hosting a handicapping tournament, and Pete showed up with the saddle cloth.
Mm-hmm.
And it was just really cute. He and his dad were filming the vignette, so he had made sure to bring that as his good luck charm.
Yeah, going back to how hard it is to make it to the races, she was an interesting filly. I mean, she won first time out. She looked like she had a weird trip in the Surfer Girl, ran third. And she looked. I mean, she didn't. She was one entry away from the Breeders' Cup turf. I mean, when we were out there, thought she might get in, and then she ended up getting sick anyways. And then after that, it was just kind of sort of down.
Yeah.
She was a cool filly. She had ability. So
well, we look forward to what her babies do. So the story continues on. And speaking of you, when we were talking just about the Breeders' Cup with nickname, you had mentioned Constellation having been in the gate with Rachel's Valentina. This is another, one that picked up a grade one for you. In 2016, she won the La Brea. She was second in the grade one Madison, the grade two Great Lady M, the grade three Las Flores, and the Rancho Bernardo. She's daughter Bellamy Road, out of her royalty by Not For Love. She sold in 2018 in full to Curlin for $3,150,000. Were you just gobsmacked?
Yeah, I knew she would sell for significant money not just because of the races she won, but when Alex and Jason Litt, they pick out a horse. I mean, it's not at that sale that she was bought at. It was at the 2-year-old sale. It wasn't just because she was fast. I mean, she was absolutely gorgeous too. So as with nickname, besides them being grade one winners, you have this beautiful physical to fall back on. So it's not just, they won that grade one, which is great, but the physical behind them is extraordinary. I mean, Constellation is a beautiful mare, and again, went to a great home. And no, did I think she was going to bring that? No, but I did think that she would bring a significant amount of money. But yes, it blew my mind, and I'm sure the Curlin aspect helped a lot as well. So, well,
he's just, I mean, it's really incredible what he's done at stud. So yeah, they were selling like hotcakes at the last sale. The Curlin yearlings were consistently topping the sale. So I'll be looking forward to seeing this baby. This should come around and be what, next year, I believe.
I think so. Yeah.
So another talking about another beautiful horse, Fancy Dress Party.
Yeah.
I mean, come on, iconic Blaze, right? She is by Munnings. Munnings, talking about another sire who's just gone.
you know, he wasn't, I mean, he was always, I guess, a good value sire for some people at that time, you know, in the past before. I mean, I think Fancy Dress Party was definitely, so, you know, a filly who kind of started to kind of bring his name to light. And then, of course, now he's on fire. And I love
Yeah.
this. I love the stallion. I mean, I really am a big fan of him, obviously. But when Alex and Jason and Madison, Scott, when they go to the sale, you know, they go through it extensively. They give us a short list. But if you send me a picture of a horse with a blaze, it's over. When I saw that blaze, you know, I was, and her physical. I mean, she was just a beast of a yearling. But yeah, she had me at hello.
Well, no, it's exciting because with you know, Munnings, I gotta give the Breeders' Cup shout out because Munnings himself is a son of Speightstown, who's a Breeders' Cup champion, won the sprint in 2004, was a clip.
Oh no, I lost you again.
Jordan, you're on it. Thank you. Technical difficulties indeed.
I hope it's not me. I'm sorry.
No, it is not you. Actually, Matt Carothers himself, you may know him from greatest hits like TVG. He was having problems with his broadcast today as well. So,
actually, he is one of my most favorite race calls of all time about one of my fillies.
Really? Do tell. He'll love to hear it. He's watching, actually.
It was actually, I recorded it and I play it all the time because unfortunately the mare is not around anymore. But Wrath of Ruthie, she raced at Churchill. And when she crossed the line, he was like, Wrath of Ruthie, she wants to run again. Like she's so much run left. And the way he said it was just, I don't know. I'll send you a video of it later. But it's one of my favorite race calls, actually.
I love it. No, I mean, I'm happy to hear he brought you some joy with that. But speaking of going back to what we were talking about and joyfulness, yes, Fancy Dress Party. You were talking about how she's probably one of the horses that was helping gain that reputation of Munnings out. I mean, yeah, she won 5 of 6 starts. She won the Glitter Woman, the Race through Beaumont, Miss Woodford. She's got a great female family. Also, her great grandma is multiple grade stakes winner Mia Farah. She was a next second to 30 Slews in the '92 Breeders' Cup Sprint. But that was 3 lengths in front of Rubiano, y'all. I mean, so that no shame in that at all. And then she was the next second again the following year, but that was to Card Media in the '93 edition. But there's this great photo. I don't know if we have it queued up and ready to go from Twitter. I'll wait a minute and see if we do. Fancy Dress Party and Covfefe in the paddock at Gainesway, checking out what they're in store for themselves coming up next year, right?
Yeah, I said to Brian Graves at Gainesway, I said, man, if that Caraconte, I think it's a Caraconte filly, watch her become a Grade 1 winner, and that picture is going to be history.
Wouldn't it be? Yeah. That would be amazing. Yeah. Absolutely. But I mean, speaking of history, Covfefe herself, she certainly made that. This horse took not only champion 3-year-old honors, she took champion sprinter honors for female sprinter. And it hadn't been done before. There had been a dual female champion before, but just not in this composition. And the thing that I love so much about a horse like her is not only does she have the talent, but she's a horse that I always love when you see what's on the page in terms of black type, in terms of family, and then a physical. And then what you see happen on the track, not only does it spell out what you thought you were reading, but it exceeds it. And that's what she did. I'll let you talk about her before we get into the pedigree, which is exquisite. But first, let's talk about the fact that just the the fun she brought. I mean, she's bipartisan. Anybody can have fun with the name. The name, obviously, we all know, started with a mistweet potentially or whatnot from President Trump. And then you just got the idea to reserve it for a horse. So take us back.
Actually, I can't take credit for that. Ruben, who is in horse racing and lives in California. And actually, the tweet must have been late at night for an East Coaster. I guess he was just I guess the president was tweeting in the middle of the night. But Ruben was on Twitter when the name went viral, and he reserved it for me. And the next day said, "Hey, I got this name for you, and I reserved it." And I was like, "Wow, thank you." I mean, because I would have missed it. And we're friendly, and he's a big fan of LNJ, and we've gotten to know each other well. And I thought it was really cool that he reserved me the name. And I mean, so he's been a big part of the whole journey and has enjoyed it. He, being in winter circles, and he's, it's been fun to have him on board with the name, especially since he reserved it. So.
Well, did you know when you named her that this was a filly with talent? Did you know she was going to be making the headlines to carry it, or was it a surprise?
No, I mean, again, like you hope that the ones that are talented are going to prove their talent. But yeah, I mean, we knew, the McCaffin brothers knew. They said, you could put her in a Fasig Tipton sale, 2-year-old sale, and she, if she performs that day, she could top the sale. And we talked about it as a family and said, how would we feel if a filly with this family went on to be champion? And that's exactly what she did. And we took a gamble because she would have brought a lot of money into the operation, but we chose to keep her, and she has rewarded us beyond what we can imagine. So yeah, we knew she was seriously talented. Yes.
I mean, okay, so she's my Into Mischief, and by now, unless y'all been living under a rock, Into Mischief, he was a successful racehorse himself, but also half brother to Beholder, half brother to Mendelssohn, out of Leslie's Lady. Just exceptional family right there. Leslie's Lady is a present day Blue Hen mare. No question whatsoever about that. But then the bottom side, she's out of Antics. And by the way, how fun by you breed Into Mischief.
The name just
you were asking for trouble. You were asking for trouble with that. But so Antics herself, a daughter of Unbridled. You got to love him. And not only did he win the Kentucky Derby in 1990, he went on to win the Breeders' Cup Classic against Older, and then went on to be a great sire and has left behind a legacy. Unbridled, we know, is the sire of Empire Maker, and so on and so forth. But you already have that just on the superficial surface. But dear goodness, how deep that family is, because her damn Antics is a 3/4 sister to Grade 1 winning millionaire Acoma, a half sister to Grade 1 winner and influential sire Arch. The great granny is the freakishly talented Althea. For those of you who do not remember her, Dwayne Lucas, this is a filly who not only won the Del Mar debutante, she came back and beat the boys in the Del Mar Futurity. She beat the boys in the Arkansas Derby. Gate Dancer was in that race. He finished 3rd. I mean, she was just, again, a freak. And the female family goes back to Betty Durr, and it's produced multiple Kentucky Derby champions, including Iron Liege, Swaps, and for you chromies out there, California Chrome. So you already have this amazing pedigree, and then she comes out on debut at 2 years old and destroys the field by 9 1/4 lengths. What was your jaw on the floor?
So we flew out for that race. Very rare. I think there's some people who say, well, when Jamie and her family flies out to a race, that's a sign. I mean, we just like racing. But yes, we flew out for that race with knowing that she might put on a performance like that. And I remember Madison Scott was with us, but Alex and Jason were at the sale. It was actually a year to the date that they had bought her, right?
Wow.
And it was when she was a yearling, same sale. And I said, you guys not gonna come to the race? I mean, I get that you're in Lexington, but it's in Churchill. I cannot believe. Anyways, like 5 minutes before post time, they showed up. What did I think? I mean, I was nervous because there was still like a Steve Asmussen 2-year-old in the race, and you never know what they're going to do. But
Exactly.
I was happy. I was happy I showed up and that she quote trumped the competition. But the coolest part really was that Helen Alexander was there.
Yeah, her reader.
And she had some champagne with us, and that's when she really talked to me about the family because, I don't know. I'll be honest, I don't know the pedigrees like my bloodstock agents. I try to learn, but I don't know to the extent that they do. So having the breeder there talk to me about the family was an icing on the cake of a great day.
Oh, it's amazing. Well, I have to say, you do your homework. I am very impressed by what you come with the pedigree knowledge. So, I mean, this is a Billy. Like, honest to goodness, people, had she not even started, she would have always retained value. This is such a great pedigree as it is. But not only did she win so impressively, to then go on, she was the Miss Preakness at 3 years old by 8.5 lengths, and she shaves off more than a second off the track record, which had stood for 29 years. She went 107 and 71 hundredths. That's insane. Then she goes in the grade 1 test. Like I said, I was there. That was absolutely scintillating. That showdown with Serengeti Empress, your Kentucky Oaks winner, who, by the way, I believe I recently saw Tom Amoss say is probably the most talented horse he's ever trained. And here she beats her. Then she romps in the Dogwood Stakes by 8 lengths ahead of the Breeders' Cup. And we all know we got to see a little bit of a different dimension to her in the Breeders' Cup. She prevailed over Bella Fina. And I was there, and it was just such a rush to see, the horse that you expect to carry through and show up on the day actually do it. So with all that said, we're going to watch the stretch run right now, actually. So let's do it. Let's sit back and enjoy Covfefe.
She's 2.5 lengths in front. Bella Fina on the outside tries to run her down. Spice Perfection is third. 16th to go. Covfefe, Bella Fina on the far outside. These two coming down to the line, and Covfefe does it. Covfefe over Bella Fina. Dawn the Destroyer was closing late on the outside.
How cool is that?
Besides getting married, what the coolest experience of my life? Yes.
It's unbelievable. To see that white blaze coming down the stretch like that. Does time slow down for you when you're watching a race, or is it just all panic? Like, stay on the horse and just everything. People have just different visceral reactions and when they're watching a race. How is it for you?
I will say I took a couple of shots. Definitely a couple of shots of tequila before.
I do not blame you.
I said, hey, I mean, this, we took some shots before Country House's the Derby, so why not do some? It seems that recently in the last year, I watched the races next to Madison, and I just asked her, okay, so what do you think? What do you think? Where are we? What do you think? What do you think? Because I don't know if that makes me feel better hearing it from someone else, but I was next to her, and we have video footage of all of us watching it, but I'm so far in the corner, I don't really get to see my expression. Honestly, I remember watching it, but I don't remember every detail of it. And I don't know. I don't know what to say. It was so surreal.
What's it like for your parents? I mean, for them, it's got to be really cool. I mean, you're always going to be proud of accomplishments your children make. But when your kid comes to you with a game plan to start a breeding and racing operation, and just, within years, you are winning one of the most premier races you can in the entire world, I can't imagine just how over the moon they were for you.
I mean, it's not that I ever lost faith in Covfefe at all, but I will say my dad was just such a huge believer in her. I mean, when he just, he was confident. He's like, he just felt like she was going to win and he wanted her to go. And I mean, I don't know, really. To see them be a part of something like this, I know they'll have forever. I mean, there are breeders in there are owners and breeders that have been in this game forever and don't get to have that experience. Seeing the joy on my parents' face, it made me feel like, all right, we did the right thing. Like this made sense, and I'm so happy for them.
Yeah, I'm sure. And for Brad Cox, this horse took him on such a ride too. I've had Brad on the show before, but do you remember the immediate reaction with him and sharing that win and any conversation, part of that conversation you could share?
Well, like kind of actually going back to what you were saying about her campaign, when she won the first race by that much, I mean, it was exactly what Brad thought she would do. I mean, Brad from the very beginning said, this is one of the best fillies I've ever trained. And then I think we asked too much of her going into the Frizette. I mean, a 3-week ship on a deep track, it just wasn't the right move. Gave her some time off. And then when we brought her back in Keeneland, the same weekend that Fancy Dress Party won the Beaumont, I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean, she won a race at Keeneland, but I think we didn't know if she was what we thought she was. Because, I mean, she beat a nice horse, but I don't know, you get used to winning these races by so much and you just don't know. And then I remember the Miss Preakness, she didn't go off the favorite. Some people, I still don't think they believed in her. I remember sitting next to Alex, and then we watched the race, and he was like, you have your rate, like congrats.
Right?
You have your Rachel. I mean, horses just don't do that.
No.
And it signified everything that we knew about her. And then she went on that run. And going back to Brad Cox, he never lost any faith in her, never wavered in, what her ability. And when we drew the one post, he said, don't worry about it. Like, she's drawn the one before. I mean, he was confident, and to have that confidence level in a Breeders' Cup race that was so deep from the one post on the Santa Anita track, I can't say enough about Brad Cox and the the luck we've had with him. And I absolutely love him. I love having horses with him. He's just a normal guy, easy to chat with. And,
oh my gosh, yeah. He's so kind with the graciousness in which he talks to you. He's like, yes, ma'am.
Yeah, we've just been incredibly lucky with him, and when he tells you how a horse is going to run, he's usually spot on, and I appreciate that.
Well, that horse will, I'm guessing it's safe to say, you will always have Covfefe, however one wants to say it. And I really believe if there was any definition to be applied to that word, she has defined it as greatness. Yeah, so now she's at Gainesway, and is she in full to Constitution?
She is in full to Constitution, yes.
Oh, perfect.
With along with Fancy Dress Party and full to Constitution. So we'll see what happens. They'll either both have boys, both have girls, or one have a boy, one have a girl. We'll see.
Well, either way, right? Like you said, you'd love to win the Derby with a filly. So whether it's a boy or a girl, let's hope you got a Derby prospect in there. Constitution himself, my goodness, he came out firing as a sire and has multiple really nice colts on the scene, including one of the horses that a lot of people are looking at for the Kentucky Derby, and Tis the Law. So, I mean, it's amazing. Great pedigree, not only from the actual, genetic standpoint, but just the names again.
Oh, we have some great names.
I'm sure you do, and I'm sure you can't share them, but still, that's going to be exciting. We're going to be keeping our eye out for her.
The name I have for the Constitution Fancy Dress Party actually might rival any name that I have for a Covfefe Constitution. Let's put it that way.
Seriously. My gosh. So see, that's not fair. We don't get to hear it for a while now, but all right, we'll be keeping our eyes out, open and ears to the ground. That's awesome. So, we talk about all the girls, but you also have a very talented boy who's, representing LNJ, and that is United. Oh my gosh, right? Like how great was it that, you took the trip. Obviously things didn't work out in Dubai, but he's come back and just this past weekend won the Charlie Whittingham. And that was after, he can't do we actually have the stretch run? It was a little bit of a heartbreak.
Bandwa's taking the lead on the outside. United is there. Bricks and Mortar's got a clear path. Alanak is diving for one on the inside. And then it's Acclimate. Here comes Bricks and Mortar. And he rushes up on the outside of United, who digs in. These two down to the wire. Bricks and Mortar. He's built like a champion. United was second.
I think I'm back. I don't know. All right. Gosh, I am so sorry. This is like the first time it's happened to this degree. So
it might be me, honestly.
It's not you. No. It's being up. You know, it's been overcast today. I don't know if that has anything to do with the Wi-Fi because I'm not tech savvy at all.
The Wi-Fi in this house is pretty spotty too. So
you're in Florida right now, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So we'll get to the fact that because of what's going on with COVID-19, you know, your horse United. I mean, by the way, what I was getting to was. Do we have it queued up that it was a bit of a heartbreaker, but that stretch run in the Breeders' Cup turf with Bricks and Mortar? Do we have that, Jordan?
They just showed it actually.
Oh, they did show it. Okay, perfect. Then we already know. So that must have been an absolute thrill. Bricks and Mortar, I mean, no shame in coming up just short. He ended up going on to be Horse of the Year. But United threw it down, and he threw it down at 51-1.
I got to be honest with you. I knew how good he was. Did I lose you again or no?
No, I'm here. I'll move.
We knew how good he was training. I mean, if you look at him, I think that he was going to run second to Bricks and Mortar. I can't say that, but if you look at his last work before the Breeders' Cup, it was phenomenal. And he's a horse that was just getting better and better and better. And we knew that he'd relished that distance. And I knew if Flavien can get him into the race and closer to the pace than far behind, that he'd run a good race. I mean, actually, there was a woman following us around. I think there's someone who follows all the connections around at the Breeders' Cup.
Yeah.
And granted, I may have had a few drinks in after Covfefe's race, but she asked me, like, what did I think? And honestly, I was like, I think he could win it. I mean, I'm not just saying that because he ran second. The things that we knew internally from Mandela and how he was how he was training. I mean, I was not surprised, to be honest. And I think he was almost actually, to be honest, was almost coming back at the horse a little bit. But whatever, he ran amazing, and I can't imagine what it would have been like if he had won.
Right now. Here's a question for you. Do you play your horses also when you're at the track? See, I don't like doing that either. I don't, because I figure if they win, then I'm already getting, when I had horses, I already, there's a purse. I don't like, doing that on top.
My bet is in owning the horse already.
Exactly.
I don't like betting on them. Actually, my mom's best friend, it's her best friend's husband bets on the horses, and she hates it. She thinks it's such bad luck.
I like you said, the gamble's already the investment you've made in the horse throughout its entire, from whether it's the breeding side, buying, purchasing, training, all of that. But some of your friends, I'm imagining, may have played. If they had boxed that, at least they get something back. Because I mean, freaking 51-1. Hello.
I get a lot of crap from my friends. They're about the Derby, about United. And I'm like, you guys don't listen to me. And I mean, now they're into racing, and now I'll get calls like, one of my really good friends' husband said to me the other day, I gotta stop betting on the colors of cars and silks. And I said, I don't know what to say. I mean, I'm not going to tell you to bet a horse that goes off at 2-1, and I gotta find you the right one. But it's not like they didn't know Country House. I mean, I put it on Twitter, I put it on Instagram.
Yeah. Gosh, that was like with Pete. Pete, as you probably know, oh my gosh, he hit that super and everything. Yeah. Unbelievable.
But now I guess the point is now they ask me all the time about horses that are going up at long odds. So.
Gosh, and you're probably like, I don't want the responsibility of this.
Actually, I like it because it means.
Oh, you do?
I like it because it means they're getting into racing, and I send.
That's true.
I send a lot of pictures of the foals to my friends' children, and they love seeing the videos. Aww. And to me, it's like, all right, well, if that's one thing that might help them, learn about the sport at a young age, then that's, one step more than what, they would have known if they didn't. So
no, that's great point. Absolutely. Well, United is now 2 for 2 in 2020. With the whole thing going on, the lockdowns, how did that affect him? And how did he come back to the States? Obviously, he ran great, but just the whole process and basically getting him back from Dubai, where he was going to run, that had to be nerve-wracking for you. And just having your horses in this holding pattern.
It was such a strange experience. I knew he took the trip well to Dubai. Taylor, who works with Richard, would send me pictures. I mean, he looked amazing. He looked as if he was ready to run a huge race. Obviously, it didn't happen. I was more upset. Obviously, I was upset he didn't run, but I was more upset that the horse was going to have to go and take such a quick trip back.
Yeah.
And it just made me uncomfortable. And once he landed, I think it was in New Jersey, maybe. I was relieved. And once he got back to California, I felt better. And someone actually pointed out to me the other day, he only in that whole time missed, it was a 19-day period that he didn't work.
No, that's
that he didn't have a work, which I thought when I heard that, I was very, very surprised. So he handled the shipping well. I mean, Richard never was concerned, and I think he was happy to be home. I was happy for him to be home.
Yeah. Well, one of the fun things about that, with he and Bricks and Mortar making up the Exacta and the Breeders' Cup Turf, I kind of love that they're both sons of Giants Causeway. That we're going to feel that horse's influence for generations. And I know United's gelded, right?
Yeah, he's gelded.
When was he gelded?
He was such a big horse. He started with Roger Affield. I saw him a lot at Payson Park when I was in Florida over the winter. I mean, the horse was just really, really big, and he needed to be gelded and more focused because they knew the talent was there. Roger always really liked him. He was training with some really nice horses of Roger, and it just made sense. And you know what? People who don't know racing always ask, well, why did you geld them? They could have been a stallion. I'm like, well, they wouldn't have been this good if they weren't gelded. So
exactly. Yeah. So no, it's a very selfless thing, actually, at the end of the day, because for him to realize the talent you're talking about, to realize his potential is something that, as you all had discussed, obviously had to be done, but we're still happy we get to enjoy him. And this probably means that, we'll get to enjoy him longer. A lot of these horses, when they're left intact, they get heavier and heavier and heavier. And for their own safety, they need to be retired.
Yeah. I just kind of worth noting that this is the first horse I think LNJ has really had where you've gotten to see a horse develop into a really good horse. I mean, we've really just had horses that kind of hit it off the bat really quickly, or just, for whatever reason, just don't live up to their potential. But to have a horse develop from, to what he has, it is something that's been unique to LNJ, and it's been really great to watch. And hopefully he runs 5, 6 till he shows he doesn't want to. So.
Now you're telling me that he has a workmate who's going to be running, and can you tell us the interesting details regarding this pairing?
Well, XPTV now allows you to see how your horses are doing in work, which I think is great when they're working well. No, I do. I love going on XPTV. Unfortunately, sometimes they miss a lot of Richard Mandela horses, and it frustrates me just putting that out there to XPTV. But when United worked with Parkour, I was obviously happy with how he worked, but I was really concerned about Parkour because to be honest, he really outworked her to a degree in which as much as he worked great, I was like, oh my God, like what just happened? And, I think Richard may for a second have thought, okay, maybe we should give her some time, but then he gave her a second chance. They worked. He still outworked her. It was a little bit better. But, at the same time that she was being outworked, she was blossoming as a filly. I mean, I FaceTimed with Alex at the point, that was the point where you could still be at the track. And You could see her dappled out. She put on great weight. So
I think Jamie might have gone out this time.
I'm not out. Am I out? Oh no. Olga, can you hear me?
Back. And Jamie's there. Okay. For a second, I thought it was your turn that time because your screen froze and I was still talking. I thought, and then I bopped out.
Okay. I don't know where we're at, but
I feel like I'm that. What was that horse's name? There was some horse named something Cub. If anybody out there remembers the horse's full name, something Cub that raced out here in California, and he was notorious for bolting. I feel like I'm bolting out of the conversation consistently. So,
I feel bad. I think maybe it really is my wife.
no, it is not you. But we were talking about parkour, and we were talking about basically that United was like outworking her.
Yeah, I said that as much as he was outworking her, when you looked at her at the barn, she was still dappled out. She looked great, and it was hard to just send a horse out that looks great, even if she's being outworked by a horse like you said that just ran second to Bricks and Mortar in the Breeders' Cup. So she came back and won her next race, and we were like, oh, whoa, like how good is United? That he outworked her by 12, 13 lengths, and then she comes back and wins. Listen. I think it's hard to judge everything by a workout.
Right.
He impressed us, and she's, her last work with United actually was her best work. So I don't know. It's hard to measure them against each other because then you start thinking all sorts of things, and you just have to let the horse run. They'll show you what they want to do.
Exactly. And we're going to be looking forward to seeing what she wants to do in race 7 tomorrow at Santa Anita. That is the grade 3 honeymoon stakes. She's actually going to be facing some horses who ran on Future Stars Friday, including KP Dreamin'. And I don't know how you say this horse's name, so I apologize to anybody who's connected if I butcher this, but Ruhavuk is going to be in that race as well. Now, your horse Parkour has drawn the 8-hole, 7-2 on the morning line, and you got Smithy up aboard. He was aboard for her 2020 winning debut, in which she wired the field to score by 3 1/4. So, do you just anticipate that that's her weapon? She's going to go.
I'm sure she'll be close. I would think she'd be close to the lead or maybe on the lead. I don't know. Mike is gonna ride her. I guess he'll look at the form and figure out how he wants to, to run. But yeah, I'd be surprised if she was in the back of the field. But
now Laura's Light, who's also in there, they've tangled before. And she's the other speed if she's in there. For some reason, I don't know why I thought she was in the race.
I think Laura's Light, she ran against Lighthouse. I'm not sure if she ran against the park.
So then your horse is Lone Speed. Because this group looks more to be like closers. So your horse, if you can just go ahead and get the lead control, and Mike has obviously got that clock in his head, just cruise on by and get the honeymoon.
Well, we'll see what happens. I'm excited to see her race.
Well, I think that looks like a solid.
We have
a solid play. Just saying.
Oh man, Olga, is it my Wi-Fi?
I'm gonna get this fixed ahead. For next week's show. I'm gonna like make sure that I've got the Wi-Fi on top of the Wi-Fi on top of the Wi-Fi because I'm
at a loss. I don't know. We went
you
well.
know what, though? Like you can carry the show. Like if I get booted again, just go through your horses for the weekend and then I'll jump back and we'll get the 2-year-old.
Our first 15 minutes were good. I don't know
I
what happened.
don't know what's going on. Well, okay, I'll get to the matter at hand. So also tomorrow, because there's no shortage of great horses coming from the LNJ stables. We've got on race 6 at Churchill Downs, the Mile and 8th turf event. We got the return of Tiesto, although actually he already ran once this year, February 29th. And when she put in an ultra game performance in the Grade 3 Palm Beach, being just a length by Vitalogy for Brendan Walsh. So Tiesto, I mean, this is a horse. By Tiz Now came out 1 at 2 years old on debut. So already you knew he was going to be something special. You own him in partnership with NK Racing, trained by Bill Mott, ridden by Joel Rosario, 5-2 on the morning line. Is this a prep for something going forward also, or you take race by race?
I guess race by race. We've always had high hopes for him, so I would think that there'd be a stakes race in his future. Knock on wood, but yeah, I mean, I think he's a very talented horse. He's a big horse. I think time has probably helped him, and I don't know what the ground is going to be like. I don't know if it's going to rain tomorrow, and
It's supposed to be beautiful, according to Matt Carothers, the weatherman.
So that makes me feel a lot better. No, I'm expecting a big effort. I think he's a very talented horse. So
yeah. Does Tiesto know he has a horse named after him?
I've tried to I think that many people have tried to reach out to him, but not yet. Hopefully have a reason to.
You could get him to play Infield Fest at one of the big events.
We'll see.
When we can all gather again.
Yeah.
We can all gather again. So he's, again, as I mentioned, he's by Tiz Now. He's out of Marquee Delivery by Marquetry. He's a multiple Grade 1 winner, multi-millionaire. He won races like the Hollywood Gold Cup, the Eddie Reed. He was 4th in the 93 Classic. And again, just Tiesto, like one of the things we have to mention is he's a half brother to Grade 1 winner and millionaire, Promises Fulfilled.
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead.
He's got a lot going for him. I'm excited to see him run with just him being a pace, and Bill hasn't had a chance really to place him in the right spot. He ran a mile last time out. He needs longer. So I guess we're even lucky that we got him into a Churchill race with all the entries. So again, I think he's got a bright future.
Well, I got to imagine if everything goes smoothly, and I don't even know what our racing calendar looks like exactly now, but this is definitely a candidate for the Belmont Invitational. And so a horse to keep in your stable mail, y'all, that's Tiesto, okay? And then on Sunday at Churchill, you have More Roses. And the interesting thing about More Roses is the fact that she's won both her starts, and she did it in off-turf events. You guys wanted her on the grass, and now you're like, okay, well, we'll keep her on the dirt. Did you just kind of luck into finding out that she likes that surface? I mean, she's won by open lengths in both starts, 5 3/4 on debut, and then by 6 following that up. And those were solid buyers, a 75 and then bumping up to an 82.
She's a really interesting thing. As a 2-year-old with Brad, she showed a ton of ability. Just mentally had to get her right. She just wanted to go a little bit too fast. Had to take some time with her. But listen, she's 2 for 2. She's in a tough race. There's some, I think, Chad Brown.
Royal Flag, yeah, for Chad, yes.
Yeah, it's a good field. It's her first race in a while. But she is 2 for 2, and she has been training great. I think we always wanted to run her in dirt, so I got to think back to maybe we entered her in grass thinking it was going to come off. I'm not sure.
Oh, maybe. Oh, was she main track only potentially?
Yeah, I think so. But I'm just happy. Anytime you have a good filly that can make it back to the track, I'm just happy, and I'm excited to see what she does. Again, it's off a long layoff, but she's been training great, so we'll see.
Yeah, and I should mention she's with Brad Cox, and she's going to be ridden by Sean Bridgemahan. And I got to give a shout out to Uncle Mo, because of course Uncle Mo won the 2010 Breeders' Cup Juvenile and was your Eclipse champion juvenile.
Flatter Me by Roses.
Yes, Flatter Me Rose. Yes, and that's a solid pedigree.
Has a really good filly out with Baffert in California, the half sister. So.
Oh well, that's nice. And you know what? I knew the name Flatter Me with Roses looked familiar. I could not place it though. just off the top of my head. But speaking of mind out. Tell me first before we even get into this horse. What's the background with the name Mind Out? Backstory rather.
Well, that all goes to Anthony Beck. It's something he lives in the Bahamas he's been there for a while now. He spent a lot of time in the Bahamas. I guess it's like a phrase that they say, like mind out, and he's so like physically imposing and just it was just like when we saw her, he was just like mind out. Like she's just was freak physical and just that it's what we went with, and it just sounded good. So yeah, it's like mind your business, kind of like mind out. So
well, there you go. She's going to be in race 7 at Golden Gate Fields, which is the mile and the 16th California Oaks, and so that's exciting right there. She is actually going to be trying the synthetic surface for the first time. She's been on turf in all 3 starts. She won her debut at Del Mar. Then she was in the Surfer Girl. She was third, but she's only beaten a length. And then she came back in an OC80, and she was second, 3 1/4 lengths beaten. But she has an excuse. She was wearing blinkers for the first time. She kind of hesitated at the start. This is actually a favorite angle of Mr. Matt Carothers. He loves a horse trying new equipment for the second time.
She's a really sorry about the audio.
Don't worry, you're all good. It's me. I'm the one that like.
Oh, my headphones don't. My earbuds haven't been working. But she's actually a really interesting filly. Her debut at Del Mar was one of the most impressive maiden wins that I've ever seen of a horse we own. She missed a break. It was 5.5 furlongs on turf, and I kind of wish you had to show it because it was amazing. She just came running, and even though it was a close finish because she was coming so far back. I mean, Flavian didn't even. It was just so impressive that when she came back, I thought she'd win I thought she'd win the Surfer Girl, even though it was a tough race. I just thought, oh wow, like her first race was so impressive. Then she got some time off, and she did. I mean, her comeback race, Parkour actually won that race. So she's interesting. It's interesting because the talent's there. There's no question. She just needs to be able to break from the gate. And for whatever reason, she's had a problem with the gate. She didn't even break last race, but she came running. And I don't know. I don't have the form in front of me, but she didn't lose by very much. So no. I mean, like we discussed, to come back to be able to overcome trouble as she did in her debut, and then in this previous start here, she actually is also improving bio-wise too, for those who subscribe to that. I mean, she was up against it. Now she's going to be she's more comfortable with the blinkers. It's got to be nice because you're teaming up here again with Simon Callahan, and who you just went with today, Lighthouse. And I also have to say, I mean, I love my partners. I mean, we've gotten really close with Gainesway and Anthony. And Brian Graves and Andrew Rosen, and it's just fun to win races with people that you really respect and really like. So
definitely,
we'll see what happens there. I'm excited though.
Well, I'm glad you mentioned Gainesway as being one of your partners, because I get petty geeky with it, and part of what I love here, even before you get into her, because obviously she has a female family. You guys don't buy horses that don't. But that being said, she has a balance that I get really nerdy about. And so if you don't mind indulging me here for a minute, for those out there who kind of like pedigree, but maybe don't know a ton about it, follow along with me, because Mind Out is a daughter of Tappet. As we know, Tappet is a son of Pulpit. Pulpit's a son of AP Indy. Okay. Now, Mind Out is out of Kid Magic by Lemon Drop Kid. I think what some people forget was with Lemon Drop Kid, by the way, he was champion older horse in 2000, and he was a grade 1 winner at 2, 3, and 4. He won the Futurity. He won the Belmont, the Travers at 3. Then he went on and won the Whitney and the Woodward at 4. So just a solid racehorse, Lemon Drop Kid. But he's by King Mambo, and then he's out of Mies, or King Mambo's out of Mies. We'll get to that in a second, actually. But Lemon Drop Kid, that's why he gets his turf influence. That's where I was going with that. Lemon Drop Kid himself is out of a half-sister to Weekend Surprise named Charming Lassie. So going back to the fact that this filly is by Tappet, again, Tappet by Pulpit by AP Indy. AP Indy's out of Weekend Surprise and a son of Seattle Slew. So Lemon Drop Kid, again, out of a half sister to Weekend Surprise, who is by Seattle Slew. So they're just very closely related. It's this really cool balancing between that sire line and then the dams line here with Mind Out. And I get geeky about that. And then going back to what I was mentioning about Miesk, because she's just such an amazing Hall of Famer. We talk about talented fillies. My gosh, that horse. So Lemon Drop Kid again by King Mambo, and then out of Miesk. Miesk was champion 2, 3, 4. She won 12 of 16 starts. She won back-to-back editions of the Breeders' Cup Mile in 87 and 88. She was just a freak. So that's where we're getting some of the turf influence with Lemon Drop Kid. And that's me being geeky. So now we'll get back to the actual horse. And what attracted you to her beyond, I mean, she obviously must have had the physical too, because that's what you talk about. She was an $850,000 purchase.
She was beautiful at Saratoga. Actually, Anthony bred her. He stayed in with the horse, which, you know, speaks volumes, I think, when a breeder stays in on the horse. She just loved her. I mean, like you said, I mean, the pedigree's there. She's absolutely gorgeous horse. She's a Tappet. Just the full package was there, and now she's just got to put it all together. I mean, the talent's there. It's just now she's just got to like we talked about yesterday. The light bulb has to go off. You know, she's just got to figure out the little things, because she makes her life more difficult than it needs to be. So once she realizes, hey, you know, I don't need to do that, I think that, you know, we'll see bigger and better.
When she can put it all together. Well, as I mentioned before, I mean, this is a horse that, even beyond what we were talking about with, you know, the sire and the dam sire, great female family here. The filly herself is a half to Canadian champion female sprinter and handicap mare Miss Mischief. Dam stakes place half to Grade 1 winner JP's Gusto. Boy, he strung together a really nice stakes trio. The Hollywood Juvenile Championship, the best cow in the Del Mar Futurity. Second dam. She lost a 107 buyer at Delaware Park, winning a stakes race over there. I believe it's the Walk-In in the Sunshine. And she won that by over 6 lengths. So she just freaked. And then other Grade 1 winners in the immediate family include Imaginary Lady, who won the 89 Santa Anita Oaks, was second in the Kentucky Oaks, and 2008 champion 3-year-old and Kentucky Oaks winner, Proud Spell, who was second in the juvenile fillies the prior year. So just a tremendous pedigree. I'm sorry?
You're teaching me a lot.
Oh, well, like I said, I just get so geeky with this stuff. And I've made it's no secret that I am a huge AP Indy fan. And so when I saw just like that Tappet Lemon Drop Kid connection, I just got super like, oh my gosh, because that's, you know, again, that whole Weekend Surprise and Lassie Deer, all that. Anyway, I digress. So Mind Out again, 7-2 in the morning line in the California Oaks, race 7 at Golden Gate Fields on Sunday. And then was that all the horses? Did we go over all your entries for the weekend?
I believe so.
Okay. Well, now we're going to get to the 2-year-olds. Can you believe it? After all that cutting out, this is the Future Stars forecast. So we have to have some horses to look forward to. Some of them are unnamed. Some of them have names. Those that do, people, put them in your stable mail. We're going to kick things off right off the top. Again, we mentioned your love for Rachel Alexandra. She a daughter of Medaglia d'Oro. You have a Medaglia d'Oro 2-year-old named Ivy League out of With Honors. With Honors herself, nice racehorse by Warfront. Do we have the video of her queued up?
Good.
Just a beautiful filly. She was I'm going to throw the ball to you. Just talk about her first, and then we'll get to some of the bullet points.
Okay. With Honors was so With Honors mom is all her class. All her class was another daughter of Dreaming of Anna that we bought right after we bought Jamal, just because we figured, like, let's get more involved in the family. Unfortunately, as the game is tough, all her class had passed away kind of out of nowhere, carrying a tappet son. So with Honors is her only daughter and means the world to my family, not just of the connection to dreamologists, but with Honors was a super talented filly out in Del Mar. And when we retired her, you know, and I actually tweeted about this today because someone couldn't believe that she already had 3 fillies on the ground. And I said, well, we retired her at the time that we felt was right for us. And I remember we got a lot of, you know, people who didn't agree with retiring her early. But at that point, she had done for us what we felt was, you know, what she had. And so first mating was to Medaglia d'Oro, and we got with, you know, this beautiful filly. I named her Ivy. It made sense. And she's kind of been a star from day one. Whether that translates on the racetrack, you never know, but she's done everything right. She graduated, no pun intended, with honors, Barry Eisman's program very well, and she's with Richard now, and we'll see what happens. But that mare means a ton to me. So I hope that her daughter carries on, you know, the legacy. So
yeah, with honors won the 2016 Del Mar Juvenile Fillies Turf. She was second in the Chandelier, third in the Grade 3 Jimmy Durante. And in fact, we have someone, Sherman 77, saying he's still aggravated about the Durante with honors.
Yeah, I talked about that today with someone on Twitter when they were talking about how they can't believe that she already has 3 daughters on the ground. I remember watching that, just blown away, just like everyone else was on the track. I mean, she jumped it really well. She could be a steeplechase, you know, horse too. But that was wild.
Oh,
yeah.
Well, it's wonderful now that we do get to see that next generation of fillies coming from her, including Ivy League here. And she is, again, I mentioned it when we saw the video, she is really striking. I mean, that's another thing. You never know what you're necessarily going to get when just because you breed the best of the best, or you have so many things just genetically, like with human beings. I mean, sometimes people are born a little, you know.
Also, just the first foal, you never know. Even if the mating's great, a first foal is always difficult because, you know, they could be smaller. It's just the first effort is sometimes difficult. So I mean, like I said, she's been really special from the beginning, and hopefully it translates.
Well, I hope so too. Another filly is named Another Woman, and she's by Broken Vow. He's a son of Unbridled that we talked about earlier, and she's out of Penumbra by Malibu Moon. So then I get my AP Indy fix again, because for those of you who don't know, he's a son of AP Indy. You got her for $105,000 at the 2018 mixed sale. I believe we have some video of her. We can show that. I'll give it. She looks to have such a sweet disposition, does she?
You know, I haven't spent enough time with her, but I know that, again, another Barry Eisman graduate, just been really classy. Like, no trouble.
Well, you know, she's with Belmont, right?
She's with a trainer that fits her perfectly. You know, she's a big, imposing filly that might take a little bit more time, you know. And, you know, Bill does great with those types. And I mean, again, you know, high hopes for her. A beautiful physical, you know, sometimes you supplement your operation, not just with your breeding, but with just horses you see that just give you that feeling like a nickname, and it's not always just about the pedigree, and that's what she was about. So
No. Well, the pedigree has a really cool Iron Horse Grade 1 millionaire in the mix, and that's Gigastar. I mean, this is a horse that was in the money in 22 of 34 starts, 11 scores, including the 2002 King's Bishop. I just love seeing these horses you can just throw down like that year after year. This filly, it looks like she has 2 recorded works at Payson.
Yeah, she just worked this morning, actually.
Oh,
yeah, I'm sure the string heads to New York pretty soon. So I love her name, though. Like the Broken Vow, Another Woman. I don't know. I'm into the name.
I think the name's great. And you guys always come up with the best names. It's, and that's why it's always fun. Like, we're going to actually, we have something cool for the fans, and we're going to come up with, talk about that here in a minute. Before we get to her, we're going to talk about an unnamed, or talk about that rather. We're going to talk about an unnamed filly that you have by Tappet out of Gold Round, who you mentioned before, by Carleone. If we could show her photo, she's at Barry Eisman's, or was she still there?
No, she's at Mandela's now.
Okay, so gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous. She is a half to Group 3 winners, Golden Valentine and Gold Walkie. Her dam Gold Round Group 3 winner and half sister to 3-time Breeders' Cup Mile champion, Golda Kova, 2008, 2009, 2010. Let's see that stretch run of Golda Kova in the 2010 Breeders' Cup Mile, if we might. Well, hold on a second.
She went so fast you didn't see it.
No, it was so fast. There we go. Thank you.
Now Golda Cova's unwinding her run in the center of the track. Golda Cova's let loose, she's blind. Sydney's Candy, the usual QT's in there as well. But Golda Cova's catching with each and every stride. Are we to see history this afternoon? Here's Paco Boy late, but no, Golda Kova, a true champion. 3 Breeders' Cup win.
Gotta love her, Mighty Mouse. And tell us how you got her half sister Gold Round. I know you've had her for a while now, but tell us the story for those who don't know.
So in 2012, Alex and Jason were really great at looking at the market and kind of pinpointing maybe some areas where we could kind of pluck something out that maybe other people are just not paying attention to, or just maybe a few like just behind. And they looked at the book for Arcana 2012, and they saw this mare, and it's a family that anyone would want to get into. So they went just really with their eye on her, not really thinking they were going to get her. And the story behind that is they had their number, and they just figured they're not going to get her. And they were trying to get to Paris, and they needed to make a train. So the hammer, they were like in between waiting and going, and the hammer went down at our price, and they were like, whoa, okay, like we just got her. And then I think they hopped on a train. No, actually, they then got driven by someone at the sales company to Paris, and I think they had a lot of fun in the car ride over to Paris. That's what happened. But they didn't think we were going to get her. She's a half sister to Golda Kova, and like going back to my original comment, just because it didn't work just because the Wertheimers were, moving her on, didn't mean it wouldn't be an amazing opportunity for another operation. And
exactly,
the story behind her is that I don't know if she had many colts prior to us. She didn't have many fillies prior to us. And we were just hoping to get one to carry on a great bloodline. And on Valentine's Day of, I guess, 2013, we got our first filly, and we were so excited. We named her Golden Valentine. And then she gave us another filly, Golden Attitude, and then another filly, Golden Box. And then a fourth filly who's in France right now with Alain Dupree, Roy Dupree, named Luck. And then this is the fifth one. And then there's a Oscar Performance 6 one. So she never gave us a colt. She gave us 6 fillies.
That's amazing.
And this is actually what's really cool about her is she's the first daughter that's staying in the United States, which my mom has always wanted one of the Gold Rounds to run in the U.S. So here we are. Well,
you gotta love the pedigree for sure. No, this is again. She does not have a name, so people just keep your eyes open, keep your ear to the ground. A horse who is unnamed, and you actually have this really cool contest going. You want fans to give this filly a name. Mm-hmm. Mischief. She's out of the mare Zia by Munnings, who we discussed earlier. Zia herself stakes place. If we're going to try to give people some, I guess, inspiration. Second dam's name, Faux Pas. And she's by Sadler's Wells. She's a half sister to Negligent, 1989's champion 2-year-old filly in England. The family includes stakes winner Sans Souci Island. Her son, multiple Grade 3 winner River 7. He won the Grade, the Commonwealth, set a record winning the Harlan's Holiday. So let's show her photo. And that also will give inspiration. Hello, gorgeous. Yeah, so why did you decide we're going to leave this one open for the fans?
I'm named out. I've hit the wall with names.
You dropped the mic, right?
Believe it or not, as many intermission legends have many clever names. At some point, there's not many left. So I don't know. I thought it would be a fun way to engage the fans in the sport. She's got such a fun blaze. Her younger sister at Millridge is has gone viral with her blaze. She's with Ben Colbrook. We had great luck with blazes with Ben. So I just figured, why don't people give, the thing is, guys, if you want to name her, you got to go to the Jockey Club first to see if the name is taken or reserved, because most of them are.
I know. I saw someone say, well, which reminds me of why. But I'm thinking, well is probably taken. But yes, Goon Girl says very cute face. She's got an unbelievable face.
Yeah, she's a cutie.
You gotta love her. So yes, you guys can submit your ideas by first, as Jamie said, please check the Jockey Club registry. It's very easy. Just go to their website and you can check it all out. See if the name's already reserved. If your pick is not, then go ahead and I'm sure you can just tweet at LNJ Foxwoods or at BG the Great and let them know what you have in mind for a name for a horse. But try to make it something that's trophy worthy.
Yes, please.
Let's not have a horse named like Who Farted.
I'll tell you right now, for anyone out there, I don't like 3-word names. So I like 1 word or 2, like no 3-word names. So
succinct, tight, something that looks good on a nameplate.
Yes, exactly.
So I asked Jordan, I texted her a little bit behind the scenes here and asked if it was possible to pull up the 5-generation pedigree of Mind Out. Oh, there it is. Perfect. Okay. Because I just thought this would be easier, because when I'm, just doing my pedagogic rambling, it might be hard for people to visualize. So this is what I was, right now, did I put you on King Mambo? I'm sorry. Or I put you on Lemon Drop Kid, but that's all right. We'll stick here. We'll stick here with it. So guys, what I was talking about with Lemon Drop Kid, remember the filly Mind Out, she is by Tap It by Pulpit by AP Indy. Now, AP Indy is out of Weekend Surprise, who's out of Lassie Deer. Okay, so you'll see at the bottom. You'll see at the bottom of the screen the second mare in pink. There's Lassie Deer, because Lemon Drop Kid's dam is Charming Lassie, as you see. Okay, so that means Charming Lassie, a half sister to Weekend Surprise, the dam of AP Indy. My StreamYard cut out. So I'm not sure where I cut off. Where are you? Yes, somebody named George. It's somebody named George's fault that this is happening, apparently, according to Alex Solis and DJ Roth.
I've gotten lots of comments. It's not me, but I don't know.
That is, we're just, whoever this George is.
George, it's my friend George Hills.
Oh, okay. Well, should we blame him or should we leave him blameless?
I don't know. Listen, we made it a good 15 minutes without it going out. So,
well, I'm not sure where I cut out, but basically, I was just talking about. I'm sorry if I'm repeating myself, peeps. I was talking about Lemon Drop Kit. Is there a way, Jordan, if you can hear me? The actual link I sent you was for Mind Out. Is there a way to back up, like hit the backspace? Because right here you're on Lemon Drop Kids pedigree. If not, don't worry. You can let me know. By I don't know. Oh, you know what? I get private messages over here. There we are, private chat. Okay. So now, if we can get Mind Out itself up, let me see if I can send her the link.
You're putting a lot of pressure on Mind Out.
I know I am. It's just, like I said, when I see stuff like this, the symmetry of something like this, I get so nerdy. Like, I love it. It makes me go, ooh, look at that balance. And it's just.
I hope she puts that together for you on Sunday.
Well, I hope so too. But even if she doesn't, like, just from the broodmare factor too, you know what I'm saying? Well, like, while we're waiting to see if Jordan can pull that up, can you just talk about, like, for the fact, going back to the genesis of LNJ Foxwoods in the beginning anyway, you mentioned at the top, but you can go back over real quick. Just the fact that, like, this was the game plan all along, was you were going to always have value in the horses that you were, taking on, because you were looking at really well pedigreed fillies.
It was always the plan. And I think that's what to be honest, I think this is like the first time I've really spoken about it. That's what kind of frustrated me about Covfefe and the retirement. I mean, it wasn't something like she was hurt or that gamesmanship. We were a breeding operation. And as with honors, like you already see, she's already got 3 foals on the ground. I mean, we want to be ahead of the game. And we are a breeding operation. That's first and foremost. I mean, obviously we've enjoyed the racing, my dad especially, but the whole goal was to become this boutique breeding operation where we didn't really have to go to a sale and buy something expensive, that we would try and breed better than what we could buy. Now, of course, there's always going to be an amazing physical or an amazing family that you want to get into, like when we wanted to get into the Gold Round family. But for the most part, if you don't have to go to sale and you can breed better than you can buy, I mean, that's the ultimate goal. So
yeah,
that's the basis of LNJ. Don't get me wrong, the racing, of course, is fun, but I enjoy I mean, I would love to breed. I mean, to with honors, was so close to being a grade 1 winner, to breed, in the, what was it, when she lost
the Chandelier.
The Chandelier. I mean, to breed a grade 1 winner would be, that's an old. That's
I know.
So
we're gonna have this pedigree come up here in just a sec. But while we're waiting for that, just real quick, we see all these horses in the spotlight. I was really taken aback ahead of the Breeders' Cup itself. I happened to be at the barn and, just see Covfefe, in her stall, in the quiet, in her blanket. Before you go out, before you put the armor on, before you go from Diana to Superwoman. And it's those moments that kind of resonate. For you, do you have any moment in particular that you don't mind sharing that you've experienced with Covfefe or one of your other horses that just kind of resonates with you? Just stayed with you.
In terms of what? Like, in what way?
Just something that's memorable. Like, I mean, for example, it might sound silly, but I've always been a fan of horses, and for me, they're celebrities. And just going ahead and getting to hang out with American Pharoah at the Baffert Barn, for example, was really cool. And it just stuck in my mind, feeding him carrots, just the simplicity of, this megastar, and, he's eating his little baby carrots. Just something simple.
Well, actually, one that's not a part of my statement, let's just say, is when my family there was a TCA auction item. My family and Daisy Phipps' family together bought an auction lot to, hang out with Rachel and Stone Street family and, have, some cocktails on hors d'oeuvres. And I've met Rachel before, actually a few times. They actually thought, it's funny, they thought that I drove in a yellow taxi from New York to Kentucky because they knew I was from New York. It was a See Rachel day before I owned horses, actually.
That's awesome.
First, which is why I like to engage with fans. But I think meeting my family, meeting Rachel with me is obviously a iconic moment that I will never forget. And I probably should have shared that picture with you. It'd be cool to see now.
Oh my gosh. Well, we can tweet it out later.
But for my parents to, be touching the horse, that is why we are doing what we're doing, is very memorable.
That's awesome. No, definitely. That's exactly the type of thing I'm talking about. Now, my friend, my amazing director from behind the scenes, Jordan, she has the pedigree ready so we can geek out on Mind Out. Okay, so here we go. This is what I'm talking about. So now as we see, here's Mind Out's pedigree. You see her name at the very top of the screen. This is what's called a 5-generation pedigree because it covers 5 generations of her family. She is by Tappet, as you see, and she is out of Kid Magic. Now, as I've told you before, Tappet's by Pulpit, as you see, and Pulpit is by AP Indy, who is by Seattle Slew and out of Weekend Surprise. Now, jump on down to Kid Magic being by Lemon Drop Kid, and you will see Lemon Drop Kid is out of Charming Lassie, who's out of Lassie Deer. So Charming Lassie and Weekend Surprise, the dam of AP Indy, are half sisters. But what makes Charming Lassie even more closely related to AP Indy than just being his half aunt is that she, like him, is by Seattle Slew. So that's what I wanted to show. That's what I thought was pretty neat. And we can take it on down, but that's how I get nerdy with it. Petty geeking out on a 5-generation pedigree.
I like the geeking out with Mind Out.
Geeking out with Mind Out, exactly. But that's just kind of thing. Like, some people like crossword puzzles. Some people like Sudoku. I like pedigrees.
Pedigrees are fun to look at and interesting. And really, it is like a crossword puzzle to go back. I mean, it's a lot. It's a lot.
No, it definitely is. It definitely is. Now, Jamie, I always ask, so with everything that's going on, before I let you go, I have to know. And by the way, thank you for, hanging tough with me through the, me bailing out with my internet connection and all that. I really appreciate it. And thank you for your time just in general. You've been amazing. I'm so happy for LNJ Foxwoods. It's wonderful that your family gets to share this together. And even more incredible that your love for a horse is what was the catalyst for all of this now. And you're everything that we talk about in terms of generating that love generation after generation, and you've reached the highest heights winning the Breeders' Cup. So we're looking forward to more. Again, everybody check out that filly that you can name, but check out the Jockey Club first. Now, on to the question. With everything going on, the lockdown, how are you getting through? What is your guilty pleasure? That, for me, it's cakes and cookies and bad reality TV that I make Matt Carothers watch. And one and two, how did you watch your big win with your? Did you Zoom with your family to watch, or did you all just watch separately?
Which one?
With Lighthouse today. And how will you watch them this weekend?
Actually, so my parents are sorry about the audio.
It's okay.
Even when we are together, say I was with them in New York, we wouldn't even be watching it together because I refuse to watch races with them because they're so nervous and then it makes me nervous. I actually watched it with my neighbors in Florida who have become good friends of ours. So
good.
The first time I watched a race with them, so maybe they're good luck. United's race, I mean, we watch it kind of on our own. We have a text chain called LNJ Foxwoods. It's my family and Alex, Jason, and Madison. We wish each other good luck before every race. And, we see what happens. So my guilty pleasures has obviously been wine, and on the healthier side, I've been just kind of running a lot and picking up my my miles and trying to get up to a half marathon. So.
Oh, wow. Yeah, well, that's right. Like you were talking about before, you've always been very athletic, very, sports centered. And I am sure with your background also on the PR side of it, that's helped in how you, approach the branding of LNJ Foxwoods itself and the way that you communicate with the fans.
Yeah, I think it's important as of someone who got into the sport as a fan to really engage with fans. Like, it's so important to me. Like, I think that almost every single person who reaches out to me, I respond to. I mean, I have the time. Why not? If someone has a time to care about my horse, it's a pleasure to engage and write back to them. And I love having fans at the stable. It means that we're doing something right. So.
Well, that's awesome. We look forward again to all the future success you are about to have in the immediate future this weekend and in the future with all these 2-year-olds coming up and the babies in the bellies of those two blazed beauties you have out there at Gainesway Farm. I want to thank all the viewers for hanging with me as well with all my technical difficulties. Of course, again, Jordan.
That's the perfect way to end with it going out.